Ceaz the Builder. Can we fix it? Ceaz the Builder. Yes, we can. Ceaz the Builder here, man. We back at it, part 2. We started with our next phase, which was the flooring, trimming, and finishing. I forgot to film the painting process, but by this time I already sanded the wall and painted it gray. You can see I closed the other side of the laundry room now. But then I started making my way with the flooring. I finished that up. Started trimming around the corners, just moving stuff out the way as I needed to use it. But yeah, all the flooring's done, all the trimming's done now. Then by this time I was releasing Icy Winters. So you already know I had to set up a studio. Classic. Had a homeboy come through, you know what I'm saying, had to cut a hit record. And then this right here was a little interesting. This took some research, but I ended up finding a very helpful resource. Yes, sir. So I ended up drywalling around the metal frame, one of the main supports around the house. Then next we had to go, shout out to Smoot. Then next we had to start off with the soffit around the HVAC system. Once again, it took some research to figure out exactly how I was going to do this, but shout out to YouTube University, it had some helpful resources there. So I finally finished up the frame of it. It was a whole lot of problems, but I had to make sure I dealt with clearance and just all type of stuff. This was a very unique design part of it, and it was almost not possible. So this was around the time of when Icy Winters dropped. This was a beat tape release that I had. Shout out to my day ones for pulling up on me, man, vibing, eating good, and just rocking out with your boy. COVID was going on, so I made everybody wear a mask, even though wasn't nobody wearing a mask. You know how it was back in 2020. Shout out to Khalil and Kay, my two best friends. If you watch my last video of when I went to Atlanta in 2021, you will know exactly who they are. And my boy Pt.2 Slappy, I always get the party started, you feel me? Jamisha in the cut. Back to business though. So now I have another problem. How am I going to extend the HVAC system out to the new drywall? I have never done HVAC in my life and didn't think I needed to. But once again, YouTube University came in clutch. I figured out a solution. So I started off with a little tape, little duct tape. Did y'all know it was spelled D-U-C-T? I always thought it was D-U-C-K. But anyway, started off with my little 10 foil, cut it off with my 10 snips. Those are some very efficient specialized scissors there. It made it really cut through that metal super easy. You can see I'm over here working on it, folding it up, getting it to the right dimensions that it needs to be. And this is what it kind of looked like afterwards. So now it's time to install it in there, and the installation really wasn't that bad. You just got to stick it in there, make sure it doesn't come out, make sure it's supported, screw a couple screws. Now I have to do the other side. So once again, you'll see this side complete, tape around it, make sure no air gets out. You'll see this side is complete as well. That was a very strategic part too, but I don't want to bore you guys with the details. So now, shout out my boy Smook again. Now we just put the drywall up there, blocked out the spots just so I can always have some light, and really wanted to save those spots for last. Today's task, gonna finish putting that drywall, we're gonna bring that. You can hear rockets playing in the background from Icy Windows. We got one down. Ignore those big cracks, I gotta do some finishing work. Then we got the next one in that bad boy. Once again, ignore them big cracks, because this was a little different for me. Now we have to put the drywall on the outside of the part, and you see how that new duct just sits in there perfectly. Then do the other side. Started the taping process, putting it up there, sanding, which was another dirty spot, man. Oh my gosh. Look at all that mess on the ground right there. That's exactly why I hate it, man. It was all on my clothes. I messed up so many shirts like that because it does not come out. Now you see I tried to mop up a little bit. The flow still look a little ashy. But this is what it looked like after it's sanded. I luckily got this filmed and recorded. You can see, look at all that dust on that stuff over there, man. We had to put protection over everything. I got dust still in some objects to this day from that stuff. But yeah, you can see it ended up coming out pretty smooth, regardless of how big those gaps were. But it did take some layers though. So now it was just time to paint the ceiling. Had to do probably like 2 or 3 coats to get the perfect white that we were looking for. You can't really see from the video, but the wall is gray and the ceiling and the pillars are white. Then add some finishing touches to the stairway entering the garage and basement. We had some handrails that was pretty messed up, so I decided to polish up this area as well. Look at the stairs, just all painted up. So once again, there goes some sanding. You can see the before of how it looked and after all the sanding was done. We used a little wood stain here, that weathered gray. That's my mock-up of it after I finished all the sanding and just began to paint. By this time, I already finished the drywall another side because I had some extra drywall. and the trimming, and you can see this is the finished product. It's a little ashy because of that sanding. Just gotta add some finishing touches.
I see.
Now it's time to move to the last phase, which was the ceiling. I looked up on this part of the project because the drop ceiling, we were getting quotes from people and they were talking about thousands of dollars. So I ended up going to one of my favorite stores, Dirt Cheap, and to my surprise, I saw these brackets and they were really for the cheap, you know what I'm saying? So God looked out on that one. Then we just had to pay for the tiles. So I began around the room, figuring out exactly the alignment of how I'm gonna do the ceiling. Ended up taking a lot of measurements and placed it where I had to place it, because I was doing the stairway and the ceiling simultaneously. So as you can see, I got it all framed and shaped out, all gridded out. Then we bought some tiles and began installing them. This is kind of what it looks like. Saved the edges because I had to make some special cuts for those. This was after the cuts were made. Now I have to make some special cuts for the lights, and I'm gonna show you how I do that real quick. So I had to do some electrical work here. Guys, make sure you always turn off the power source. I hooked it all back up. By this time I already cut the hole that I needed in there. And after that, it was just putting back in there, and it was, you know, pretty simple. Much easier than the drywall. And this is what it kind of looks like at the finishing product. You can see I got my shaker weight, you know, trying to get in shape. I was on the hoverboard.
I see.
So yeah, back to the stairs. Just to give you, this is about 95% complete here. At this point, it was just a lot of touch-up work that I had to make. A lot of coating just from extra product that we had. And walking into the garage section. So from the garage, it looks like this. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Pretty much finished up. Still got a lot of stuff that I had to just touch up a little bit, like I say, here and there. But man, this was an interesting project. Completely designed by me. Over 70% of the work was constructed by me. Definitely had help from some friends. Here's the final laundry room setup. We decided not to do the drop ceiling because it would be a little bit more material than we wanted to pay for. But overall, this was a good project, and I'm glad I took the initiative and had a vision and acted on it. So yeah, that was my basement project. Ceaz Da Builder. We fixed it. And don't forget, subscribe to your boy.
I see.